First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And welcome back to Fox 12 Now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. going all the way through the afternoon until our 4 o'clock news. And we cover a wide range of topics, and sometimes we even have guests join us here in studio. And that's what we're going to see next. This is a two-part interview about Through My Board, a documentary about the Burnside skate park, and in particular, Paul Johnson, who is a skateboarder there, who happens to be deaf. And they all came in, the director, Paul, and also Paul's interpreter. So we have everybody here to just talk about this and really go through what this story is. It's about community, it's about Paul's story, and so much more. So we're going to run this for you now. We'll follow that up. We'll have Dan Een joining us for the second part of the interview. But here we go. Paul, thank you for coming in here today. I'm excited to talk to you. And I want to talk about this film and just ask you, to start with, what did it feel like when Dan approached you to make this documentary?
Yes, he's very happy. It's hard working with the movie. To watch how he grew up, talk about Paul growing up, talking about skateboarding at the park for many years.
What is it about the Burnside community that means so much to you?
Because he started when he was young, at 10 years, and he's grown up with his cousin to see more and watch more people skating for a long time. So it's been a part of his community.
And how has it felt to see you and your community, on screen now, seeing some of this documentary come out?
For the first time, walking through, Dan was recording through my skateboard and continuing. To be with him, watch him recording and learning. Going Dan around to the park and moving forward like that.
I have a question about skateboarding. For you, what do you think is the biggest advantage being a skateboarder who's deaf?
Well, the first time he's never seen people skate until his cousins was starting, and he'd watch, and he was more separated, and he loved watching skating, and he was hooked, so he never stopped. But being deaf, it was a different feeling for skating than others, of hearing people. He's never seen a deaf person skate, so he learned.
You just went out and did it.
Yeah. Himself, he just learned. The more he was practicing skating and learning through his eyes and skating.
What is it that you love the most about skating?
He loves Burnside.
Learning
different skate tricks with his friends and going and having different meets on different ramps. Just start learning different tricks on the skates of where different locations, having fun.
Having fun. What do you What do you think is the most important thing that people should know about the Burnside skating community?
People at Burnside Skate Park, the older people, they know him as like one of the OGs from growing up. And it's a place for new and old people to come and skate. And it brings a lot of happiness.
And for people who are seeing this documentary, how excited are you for people to see this story and to see some of this that you're talking about?
Yeah, he's very happy. It's exciting. He can't wait to see the full movie to show us. And people are curious to see. They're waiting for it. Is it April 16th? On April 16th. And there's a lot of happiness, a lot of excitement.
And last question, what would you say to a young skater who may be deaf as well to encourage them to pursue skating?
And tell them that skating is new. And it's a way to teach hearing people how to communicate with them. So to come skate and you can be with the hearing people, it doesn't have to be about the language barrier or lessons. You come in the community and you can so it doesn't, his friends can come and because he's deaf, you don't have to know what to do. You can just learn and be quiet and it takes time.
Is skating a universal language of its own?
Mm. 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 Well, he wants to eventually see like a deaf team. Yeah. It doesn't have to just be hearing. Oh, it's not popular. It can be popular for the world to see and get support. The first time. Oh, like Thrasher. So to work with different brands for a very long time.
Anything else you want to let people know about that you'd want them to know?
He says, I don't know any questions that you have. It's this first time.
You're doing great. You've done great. Well, Paul, I thank you. Thanks for coming in.
He says, you're welcome.
And
thank you very much. He wants to show the world with Dan. He wants people to see his world for the first time and through the news. So thank you. And to watch through my board. So people can be curious and watch it and see it.
Excited to see it.
All right.
Okay, huge thank you to Paul. So this is the first part of our interview. They mentioned Dan, who's Dan Een. We're going to hear from Dan here coming up next. Paul did an amazing job. I will say so. Off air, when Paul came in, he was nervous. I think this is the first time he had done one of those kinds of interviews, and so that's when I was like, "You're doing great," because he was uncomfortable. But I mean, he's fascinating, and the documentary is as well. So Thursday, April 16th at Hollywood Theater, is when this documentary will be having its world debut. And we want to talk more about the film and understand how this got made and who made it. And that is, Dan, a 7-year process of getting this done for the Burnside skate park community and for Paul. So let's hear a little bit more about that right now. Thank you for coming in here today. I'm so excited. You know, when I found out about this documentary, I mean, it seemed like just such an amazing story and something to tell. But I'm curious for you, you know, how did you come about this? How did you find out about this and decide this is something that you wanted to participate in?
The story originated, I met Paul outside of the Doug Fur, and he saw that I had skate shoes on and they're scuffed up from skateboarding, and he was just so eager to talk and communicate, but I don't know sign language, so I just thought he was interesting and we became friends. And I mean, after several years of knowing him, I just felt that he needed his story told. He kind of brought me down to Burnside. I wasn't really a Burnside skater till I went down there with Paul. And it had a reputation for being real rough and not always the most welcoming, but throughout filming this project over 7 years, I mean, I've watched that community really evolve to be very welcoming. And of course, if you go down there with Paul, because he's an OG, it's like,
Yeah,
you know.
Instantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 7 years. This has been filmed over 7 years.
Yeah, we started in 2018. I think the origin of like what the story I wanted to tell was a story about community. And Paul, the way that he is a pillar to that Burnside community, and it's not just the way that he's accepted, it's he's a part of it, and it's a vast community, and it's there's no BS involved, right? Like you can't get away with a lot of the stuff that that we do these days. And I felt like there was the world was missing connection, and I just saw the way Paul was so important to Burnside and the people were important to him. I just thought it was a beautiful story to tell.
I mean, it really is. What's one of the biggest challenges that you had of filming this?
Finding interpreters on a consistent level. And there wasn't always in interviews getting the question across to Paul or the answers. You know, I wasn't trying to over direct it or overproduce it. It was the story's there, just follow it, you'll find it. And so things just happen naturally in that respect for how the story came together. But when you're down at Burnside, there's a lot of chaos in terms of its skateboarding. There's crossfire, and so you can't always be dialed in. And for me, when I'm communicating with him without an interpreter there, like if we're in the middle of the park, it's just charades.
Yeah.
So you're trying to be dialed in with him to communicate, but then there's chaos happening all around you, and it's kind of dangerous in that respect. So you have to get out of the park if you want to have a real conversation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a wild environment to be filming in. So, but 7 years. So for people who don't know, let's just do this going back just a little bit. Can you give them, a synopsis and understanding of what this documentary is really about?
I mean, at the core of it, it's a story about community and human connection. And there's multiple pieces to it. I mean, there's Paul being a deaf skater and being involved in Burnside. There's the evolution of Burnside, and then Paul's personal evolution. Then there's really what's happening with the skateboarding community in Portland, and the way that Portland actually really welcomes skateboarders, and it's a great place. Burnside was the original DIY concrete skate park, the first in the world. And when the Earthquake Ready project for the Burnside Bridge threatened that whole historic park, skaters band together. They did another DIY. They got involved with, lots of entities, Parks and Rec, PBOT, Multnomah County, and they got funding for another park underneath the steel bridge. So there's kind of like a many moments over 7 years of like, okay, there's the Burnside history, there's Paul's history, this is the story, but then what's the future of skateboarding in Portland? And Portland's very welcoming to that.
And seeing all these people come together, that I think going back to what you said, that sense of community, that seems to be a really, really big theme for this.
Yeah, I think that people they're too much on their screens and they're not outside enough, and skateboarding gets people outside, gets them together. And when you're learning skateboarding, it's extremely difficult to learn.
Yeah.
And so it built a different type of person, and that's Paul. He's tenacious in terms of connecting with someone. Even if you don't understand sign language, he'll keep trying. That's like the first time I met him, I was like, he really just wants to connect. And skateboarding brings people together like that. And if you're a quitter, then, skateboarding's not for you. Like, gravity will not be forgiving, and Paul obviously isn't a quitter for skateboarding or for, connecting with people.
For people who are going to see this, who, I think for a lot of the community, they know of Burnside and they know of, the skating community, but there's going to be a lot of people who will see this who have never experienced anything like that. So from an outside perspective, what is the biggest thing you would like them to take away from when watching this?
For like non-skaters?
Yeah.
I think that there was so many different, as a hearing person, to be dialed into Paul's world, I felt like an outsider, but then Paul's so welcoming that I also felt like an outsider to Burnside because I wasn't a transition skater. I was a street skater. I pretty much learned transition at Burnside. So having Paul bring me into his world as a deaf person and then also into the Burnside community, I think that this film will bring non-skaters and hearing folks into Paul's world and the Burnside world in a way that can translate to anyone universally. It really is. It's just a great story about connection and people banding together to help Paul in his struggles, and then Paul being there for young folks as well. I think that was another part of the story. Is it's multi-generational. So sometimes there's judgment of like, oh, you're 40-something years old and you're still on a skateboard. Like, that's a toy. It's like, yeah, it's fun. Let's get out and let's go do something. But we're also down with the kids, and it's about being a better role model and really connecting with multi-generational through sports.
Yeah, having that through thread, I guess, or whatever that would be. But that sense of community, bringing that back, to it.
Yeah, that's
across generations and hearing or non-hearing or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about the movie is just watching the older generation teach the younger generation and hype them up. Because, that's Paul. Like, he really does teach the kids. He'll show them. And it's interesting because, like he was saying earlier, you don't have to talk. You can just show and demonstrate with your body, with the board, the movement. And kids need that. They need mentorship. They need positive role models. And I think Burnside really has grown to be a community of better role models. It's a safe place to bring the kids. Like when my son's there, like he's learning. He's just, oh, this is a really gnarly park. It's scary in terms of just like the physical gravity of it. But if he's trying something and he's really just the first time and he's not sure if he can do it or if he falls, people, like the older people, would just like, they get hyped and it's, slamming their boards. It's like a ruckus. And that's a great environment to, hype up little kids.
That's amazing. Last thing, I guess, just for you, having gone through this for so many years and working with Paul to get this out there, now people are going to get a chance to see it. How does it feel for you to get this story out?
I'm really excited for people to see it. I've been working on it for so long. I'm used to seeing it, but then I'll have a conversation with someone and they've seen the trailer and I'm like, right. Oh, but you haven't seen the movie because, it's been so long. I'm so used to it. We kind of hit all the marks. Like there's there's so many stories and there's so many different characters and personalities down there that you could film forever. And I'm still hearing these hilarious stories of like Burnside in the 90s or like something that happened on a day that I wasn't there. I'm like, well, we were filming the doc and I live close by. Like, how did I miss that? But it's just because there's always a new story down there every day. And, you know, the characters down there, they're very interesting, you know?
Right.
There's a lot of stories. So I'm just excited for people to get together in a theater and experience a movie about community and new perspectives that they might not have seen before. I do have something about the premiere.
Yes.
So the movie premieres at the Portland Panorama Film Festival Thursday, April 16th, 5 p.m. in the Hollywood Theater. But before the movie, we're shutting down the alley outside of Sizzle Pie, and we're doing a little skate jam. There's going to be free pizza. There's going to be a product toss. Rip's company, the skate shop, the local skate shop, is providing free gear, and they're going to toss it off, you know, like they do at skate demos.
Right.
So it'll be a big activation from 3 p.m. to 4:30, right before the movie. And the movie that's right after us is actually using that same alley to park their bikes because everyone's biking over to the next movie. So it's just kind of like it's fun that we had an activation before our movie and we're sharing the same space with another movie at this film festival, the Panorama Film Festival. I think it's a movie about community, and then we're actually bringing the community together through this festival.
That's amazing. Yeah. All right. Huge thank you to the whole team for coming down here for that interview, and just a really great story. Dan just told you everything you need to know about the premiere and how to find out more about it. And yeah, that was awesome. So thank you. We've got more for you if you're watching live. This is Fox 12 Now. We do live stream here every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., as I said at the beginning. And if you're watching live, we've got a lot for you here this afternoon. If you're watching after the fact, feel free to share these segments and download that Fox 12 Oregon app, because then you can watch all of our segments and interviews and discussions that we get to have, whether that's breaking news sometimes or things like Through My Board. You know, there's a wide range on there, so feel free to check all of those out on the apps. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We have a new episode of Beyond the Broadcast. We'll set that up for you after this. So thanks for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now.